In this video, I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys, even though I think a lot of people might hate me for it, because we're meant to be at the big climax of Pokemon Horizons, the finale of the storyline they've been building up to for 3 years, and yet today's new episode, episode 133, to the final battle, this was supposed to be the exciting beginning of that, but for me, and honestly for most of the community members I saw, the episode just completely fell apart. It really did not work at all. It was filled with weird writing decisions and anti-climaxes, and honestly it just left us underwhelmed, as well as confused and borderline irritated at times. So let's talk all about it in this review video. So at the beginning of the episode, the explorers are waiting at the Lqua paradise for our heroes to arrive, and arrive they soon do. They make their plans, and I really can't get enough of seeing them all together like this, like one big happy family before they start their infiltration. But obviously Spinel knows and sees everything as always. He's really like one giant eye like Sauron. So, Royale and Friede will distract the explorers from the sky, while all of the girls will sneak into the centre of Lqua to meet with Amethio and the 6 heroes. Not gonna lie to you, this feels really weirdly segregated by gender. I'm sure it's not intentional, hopefully. It is a little odd though. But hey, our boy Cap is leading the girls, so at least he's there to break the gender norms. It's always a Pikachu doing that, huh? Oh yeah, and then the other RVT members are sidelined to the airship as always. I kinda miss when they got involved in the fights too early in the series. Especially Ludlow, dude, I feel like he could definitely help. He could be a game changer. He's literally a superhero, bruh. So the boys are met in the sky by Coral and Sidian, while the girls head through the Lqua paradise. I will say the episode did a good job of making Lqua feel deserted after everything that happened a year ago. It really does feel off and weird and uncanny that it's totally empty, no Pokemon anywhere. Suddenly though, the girls are attacked, so Liko, Anne and Diana tactically retreat deeper into Lqua, while Dot, Penny and Nemona face the threat. It's a whole horde of what I'm gonna call the Regus Pokemon, Koffak Regus and Runa Regus. And then when Nemona and Penny attack, defeating 2 of them, it's revealed that they sneakily used Destiny Bond beforehand, resulting in Decidueye and Jolteon falling unconscious too. Dude, thank god our heroes were smart enough to not use their Terra Pokemon here, because if they did and their Terra Pokemon were knocked out by the Destiny Bond, this would have lost them the entire war. It's then revealed that it's Indy and Rubella controlling the Horde, and for me this was kind of the start of the episode falling off quite hard, because I hate to say it, I just do not care about Indy and Rubella, man. I really don't. These two have lost literally every battle they've ever been in. They don't feel like a good use of screen time to me whatsoever. It feels like their entire existence can be summarized as gimmick of the week. Literally every appearance, every battle, Indy and Rubella have something new to throw at our heroes, some new battle strat, some new technicality, and at first that was pretty cool. After we've seen it 100 times in like every Explorer's battle, it begins to run a bit dry. It just feels like Indy and Rubella are plot devices rather than actual characters. So wasting 3 of our goats on this, Dot, Penny and Nemona, it's a bit of a joke really. Especially Nemona, bruh, she's the strongest champion of Paldea. She should be able to sweep these 2 idiots in 20 seconds, max. Even Penny managed to 1v2 them and defeat them back in the museum. I don't know, trying to put Indy and Rubella on a level playing field with Dot, Penny and Nemona? Man, they're doing our heroes dirty. And on top of that, I'm not exaggerating when I say the battle you're about to see against Indy and Rubella took up nearly half of the entire episode. Like dude, waiting 3 weeks for basically a whole episode of Indy and Rubella instead of anything new and exciting? That was so disappointing. I think it really detrimented the episode's reception from fans, and rightfully so. So our heroes send out more Pokemon, but they know that Destiny Bond will happen again if they knock out the opponents. Then Indy and Rubella hit them with another gimmick. Mean Look so they're trapped in the battle, and then Curse so their HP is chipped down until they're defeated. Good strategy from Indy and Rubella to be fair, except not really because Goldengo's Good as Gold ability stops it from being affected by Curse. So Goldengo looks back at his trainer knowing what he has to do, and then he unexpectedly lunges forward with Make It Rain, knocking out all 4 opponents at once, and of course taking on all 4 of the Destiny Bonds himself. This was a really peak sacrifice moment for Goldengo. He knew the others were afflicted by the curse, and he knew that getting the Terra Pokemon to the centre of Lqua was the main priority, so he prioritised all of that by sacrificing himself, knocking out 4 Pokemon in one go and eliminating the curse, the Mean Look, and the Destiny Bond. This was awesome, man. What a great way to make Goldengo feel necessary and significant in the climax, even without being one of the Terra Pokemon. Or well, that's what I was saying, until the episode then immediately undermined it in the very next scene. Indy and Rubella just casually send out another 6 Aurigus Pokemon, just totally trivializing and making insignificant Goldengo's sacrifice. I'm sorry bruh, but that's just boring. Like, ooh look, Indy and Rubella have another gimmick! Ooh, Goldengo's sacrifice was for nothing! Lame. I hate these two, man. They're just so obnoxious and irritating, and they're not even characters. They're literally plot gimmicks. And then to make matters worse, rather than Penny sending out any of her other 4 evolutions, or Nemona sending out any of her other 4 Pokemon, for some reason Dot and Nemona send out their Terra Pokemon? This feels so short-sighted and borderline stupid from them. They know better than this, dude. Why are they being written to risk the whole mission for no reason? If Quaquaval or Pawmot go down here, then our heroes lose the entire war, because they're both necessary to erase the Laquium. It's dumb, man. It feels out of character. Dot and Penny are meant to be like 2 of the smartest trainers in the entire show. And what else annoys me is that rather than letting Goldengo have that moment to make a difference, to shine, they just have Hamba immediately conveniently show up to save him instead with Dusk Noir and Blood Moon Ursaluna. I'm gonna be honest, I love Hamba, but he got his time to shine a few weeks ago. They should have just let this be Goldengo's moment. Why couldn't Goldengo's strategy have just been the thing to eliminate Indy and Rubella? Why did Hamba have to come to the rescue? Either way, thanks to Hamba, Indy and Rubella go down, their Pokemon defeated, and then Hamba distracts some Explorers grunt while the others head in deeper to Lqua. Meanwhile, Royale and Friede face the main 3 explorers, and all 3 of them Mega Evolve their non-Terra Pokemon knowing they have to give this everything. I will say I like that the Pokemon who aren't part of the Terra team are being used to get the Terra Pokemon to the centre of Lqua, kind of like their vanguard or bodyguards. And the purple trio look pretty good together, dude. But then the 3 explorers shockingly Mega Evolve their Pokemon too, Aerodactyl, Glalie and Medicham. It's the Pokemon anime's first ever 3v3 Mega Pokemon all-out battle. Okay, so on the surface, this is really hype, but as soon as I thought about it for more than like 2 seconds, it kind of fell apart for me. First of all, I feel like all 3 explorers being able to so easily Mega Evolve their Pokemon, it really does undermine the story the writers are trying to tell with the Laquium, especially Glalie and Medicham. They've been strong sphered so many times, dude, and the anime has been screaming at us for so long that the Laquium is the antithesis to bonding with Pokemon, that it erases those strong bonds between trainer and Pokemon. So allowing the explorers to still Mega Evolve, you know, the gimmick that relies on their strong bonds, I don't know, it just feels weird to me. I think it would have been so much more impactful if the explorers tried to Mega Evolve, but then were horrified when they find they're not able to anymore, because the strong spheres destroyed that ability for them. Imagine how hard that would have hit, how much it would have made the explorers totally rethink the side they're fighting for. But nope, I guess that Shillen Mega Evolution is far more important. And on that topic, Dot has had an ongoing rivalry with Chouse since episode 44. They've clashed more times than I can count, both in battles and intellectually, and the series has been building up to a big final decisive battle between Chouse and Dot. So tell me why the heck the writers have Dot stuck battling Indy and Rubella, rather than battling her actual rival, her actual arch nemesis, Chouse. I can tell you why, because the writers didn't give Dot a Mega Evolution, and right now they clearly seem to care far more about prioritising shilling Mega Evolutions through a 3v3 Mega Showdown than they do about actually concluding a genuinely significant, important character rivalry. How disappointing, dude. It's also really weird to me that we're expected to buy that Sidian can Mega Evolve his Aerodactyl when we haven't had a single bonding moment or significant scene between the 2 of them in 133 episodes. Like, where did this strong magical bond come from? Why didn't the writers set this up throughout the series? I will look on the bright side though. I think Sidian using Aerodactyl is pretty dope. Not only do I love the Pokemon, but Sidian was starting to feel really repetitive and one-trick with Garganical, so it's really refreshing to see him battling with Aerodactyl instead. The battle began with Glalie using Blizzard and our heroes hiding behind Sabalai's shield, then Starmie used Swift and somehow it did the impossible and totally missed, with Aerodactyl dodging it in the snowfall. Sabalai's Shadow Sneak is then destroyed by Medicham, while Starmie pretty much turns into a fan to blow away the blizzard. I just know that Fan Rotom is quaking in his boots right now. Anyway, Medicham lands an axe kick on Starmie before dodging Starmie's Psybeam and Lucario's Metal Claw. Then my favourite sequence of the episode by far happens. and it's all thanks to little Sabalai who begins clashing with Glalie. Basically, Sabalai jams his gem shield into Glalie's mouth in an attempt to stop him from attacking, and it actually works. Then Sabalai fights back, but every time Glalie deflects it with the mouth shield, moving around like a game of Pong. What a funny interaction between them, it was just filled with so much charm and character, you know? Then Stari comes to the rescue and steals back Sabalai's gem shield, giving it to him. And dude, Sabalai stares up in awe at Stari and his huge gem, falling madly in love with it. So now Sabalai keeps leaping in front of Stari, trying to protect it, also trying to flex too. And man, I never saw the Sabalai and Stari ship happening. I actually love it, I'm not gonna lie. It's so random. I wonder how Sabalai distinguishes between a gem that it wants to eat and a gem that it falls in love with. We're gonna call it purple gem shipping, because they're both purple and they both have gems. But anyway, then the Pokemon clash again before we cut to Liko's group reaching the centre of Lqua, the episode ending. Okay, so as you can probably tell by the video so far, I really wasn't impressed with this episode. So many of the writing decisions were just strange and confusing to me. Dot especially was done so unfathomably dirty, not only being wasted on Indy and Rubella, but then also having Goldengo's big moment being undermined, and also not even getting to conclude her rivalry with Chaos. She deserved better than this, man. And as for Indy and Rubella, god, please let this be their final episode. I don't want to see them again. Just arrest them off screen or something, I beg. And the idea of a 3v3 Mega Showdown is dope, even if it kind of undermines the whole Laquium storyline, but the main issue is that the execution was just underwhelming so far. There wasn't much in terms of crazy moments, there's no like personal rivalries to fuel the storyline, or to add an extra layer of engagement, the animation wasn't really that good either, and dude, Lucario already feels 1,000,000,000% nerfed and weaker than his last development episode made him feel. That was the Lucario we saw versus Mega Hawlucha. Did he just forget how to battle? How many times are we going to go through this with Lucario? The only part I loved was everything involving Sabalai, because as always he brings the charm and the personality, you know? I love this little guy. So overall, this episode, to be brutally honest, was a disappointment to me. And I know I can't speak for everyone, but this was the most negative I've seen people in my Discord server be about a Horizons episode in a long time too. Most people didn't seem to like it. A lot of people seem to have these same criticisms, and it definitely doesn't help that we just had a 3-week break too, because waiting all of that time for this episode, that stings, man. I think what else is really concerning to me is that right now I'm way more excited by whatever they're doing with Ditto and Pokopia in the next arc than I am about the big grand climax they've been building up to for the past 3 years. Like, that's a huge red flag, dude. But regardless, I'm gonna stay hopeful that the next few episodes will truly blow us away and deliver something spectacular. Feeling negative about one episode doesn't undo how much I love Pokemon Horizons. Let me know your thoughts on episode 133 below. Do you agree or disagree with what I've said? And be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, as well as joining our community Discord server using the link in the description. Thank you so much to all of my incredible channel members on screen right now. That includes the fam and fanatics like Jascadia, Toten, Not Mini, Hope, Sharebon J, Finny, Shiny. You guys are the goats. And on that note, thank you all so much for watching, and best wishes until we meet again.